What will the New York Knicks starting lineup look like in the 2020-21 NBA season? What's going on, guys? Welcome in to Clutch B-Ball TV. I hope you guys had an amazing day or night. And today, I'm going to be talking about what the New York Knicks lineup may possibly look like when it comes to this upcoming NBA season. Before we officially get into the video, I want to give a big shout out to Sophisticated Fan TV. He gave me this video idea. If it wasn't for him, I would not be making this video. Maybe I would at some point, but maybe I wouldn't be making it like this soon. But I want to give a big shout out to him, show him some love. Great video idea. If you want to go ahead and go to my community tab, you can comment down below any video idea you want to see when it comes to broad NBA, the New York Knicks. And I thought this was a good idea, especially because the preseason is coming up very soon, as we're going to be taking on the Detroit Pistons in 2 games, and we're also going to be taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers. So those teams are pretty much probably like as equally as bad, or at least we're in that area, like the young teams trying to improve as a basketball team, even though the Cavs have Kevin Love, Andre Drummond, they brought back on that deal, and the Pistons still have Blake Griffin and Derrick Rose. But I do think we're a totally different team when it comes to just the youth movement and being a younger basketball team. But getting into what I think the starting lineup will look like, I'll be honest, I have no idea, but I'll give you my thoughts on what might happen. As you guys know, we went on to hire Tom Thibodeau. His latest head coaching job before he got the job with the Knicks was the Minnesota Timberwolves. He was coaching Karl-Anthony Towns. He was coaching guys like Andrew Wiggins. Jeff Teague was even on that team as well, and Taj Gibson was. As Taj Gibson, we didn't bring back. Actually, some people were actually surprised when we moved on from Taj Gibson in free agency. I was, to be honest. I thought that was a big-time Tibbs guy, but I guess that was a Leon Rose move by the New York Knicks, like front office and organization. But yeah, he was the coach of the Knicks. He was an assistant coach. He also was the coach of the Chicago Bulls, as you guys know, coaching Kirk Heinrich, Mike Dunleavy, Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah, Jimmy Butler. Like, a big reason Jimmy Butler is what he is because of Tom Thibodeau, and also because Jimmy Butler is one of the best, like, mentally tough players, putting in the work. Just to see his improvement has just been absolutely unbelievable. And of course, Tom Thibodeau coached him also when Jimmy Butler was a member of the Minnesota Timberwolves. And something you'll learn about Tom Thibodeau is he's no nonsense. If you watch the New York Giants, Joe Judge, he's a no-nonsense coach. He's going to hold players accountable, which is something we did not have with David Fizdale, something we did not have with Jeff Hornacek. We didn't have someone that could get up in their jersey and tell them when they're doing something wrong. And I think this is going to be a great test for the young players. How will they respond? If Kevin Knox gets yelled at in practice, how will he respond? Will he play better? Will he play worse? Will he try to prove the coach wrong at the end of the day? And I think that's something we're really missing when it comes to this organization or just the coaching staff, just holding these players accountable for sure. And Fizdale even came out and said that after he was fired, that he wished he held the young guys more accountable. And I think Thibodeau is going to put the best lineup out there that puts them in the position to succeed, even though coming from my perspective, maybe another Knicks fan's perspective, we're probably not going to be very good this season, if we're being completely real. But I do think he's going to put the best lineup out there to be successful. He's come out and said that he likes Obi Toppin. He said he likes his versatile style of play. He has a very nice skill set. He can shoot the ball. He's a great athlete, and he's as ready as he could be coming into the NBA right now. So that's very high praise for Obi Toppin. He likes RJ. He's not going to say anything negative though at the end of the day. But he did say in interviews like these guys still have ways to go, which you love to hear. There's always room for improvement for players to get better. But the big question is, will he start Julius Randle over Obi Toppin, or will Obi Toppin start over Julius Randle? And I think that's a good question. And who will start at the point guard position? Because as you guys know, we still have Julius Randle. And some people are actually scared of Julius Randle getting minutes over Obi Toppin, because Obi Toppin's 22 years old. He's like kind of at his prime already. He's already NBA ready. He's going to be 23 in March, and we took him to be this impact right away basketball player. But maybe we're going to play Julius Randle, try to get some trade value out of him when it comes to the trade deadline and deal him away. Like I said, Frank Ntilikina, Desmond Jr., who will start at the point guard position, is it Elfrid Payton? Does he not believe in Frank Ntilikina? Does he not believe in Dennis Smith Jr.? That's why they brought Elfrid Payton back. And of course, he's automatically on the no trade clause because he was originally a part of our team, waived him and signed him back. It just automatically becomes a no trade clause, that rule in the NBA. Will it be Alec Burks starting? Will it be Kevin Knox? Will he have Alec Burks and then RJ at the 3 and try to change things up there? Some people actually like RJ more as a 3 because he's kind of that muscle bulldog type of player that's not the greatest a shooter. But if Tom Thibodeau's going with a win now mode lineup, I think it will be Elfrid Payton. I don't know why. I just have that gut feeling. I kind of know why and I kind of don't. like I said, maybe doesn't believe in Frank to consistently put pressure on the defense. Yes, he brings defense, and people will think Tom Thibodeau loves that right off the bat, which he will. He loves probably how Frank takes pride in playing defense, but he also wants a guy that can penetrate on a consistent basis, has pure confidence. And yes, I don't like how Elfrid Payton and Julius Randle have that connection. They played with each other on the Pelicans, so he's always looking for Julius Randle over an RJ Barrett, which is scary. But Elfrid Payton is a guy that can get to the rim. He can get to the free throw line, doesn't knock down his free throws. Not a great shooter. I would not be a big fan of that whatsoever, starting Elfrid Payton, but I totally get it. But if he loves Dennis Smith Jr. and he wants to mold him, I do think he will start Dennis Smith Jr., but he's not going to just hand out minutes. He's going to hold these players accountable. He's not going to start Kevin Knox just to start Kevin Knox and be like, okay, you're young. We drafted you 9th overall, even though I wasn't a part of the staff. We want to get you better, and we're just going to start you. No, he's going to make sure that he gives out deserving minutes, and he's going to start Kevin Knox if he deserves it. He's going to start Dennis Smith Jr. if he deserves it. And I don't think anyone has a sole starting role on this basketball team except RJ Barrett when you really think about it. Because Mitchell Robinson, Nerlens Noel, yes, Mitchell Robinson's a rare breed. He can guard the perimeter at his size. He can block shots. Very athletic. Nerlens Noel's kind of like that, except he can't guard the perimeter like a Mitchell Robinson. Neither of them are great shooters. But don't be surprised if he starts Nerlens Noel over Mitchell Robinson. I love Mitchell Robinson. He is high upside, even though I think he has things to go when it comes to his game. Maybe he has to add more weight. I never see him in the weight room. Maybe he is behind the scenes. A lot of people are getting hype about him shooting in the gym. At the end of the day, he's not playing up against NBA players. Not much defense being played. He's just in an open gym. We need to see how it translates to the court. The same thing with Dennis Smith Jr. changing his jump shot or trying to get better as a shooter. We got the hype last year. Didn't translate. Still sucked from the free throw line. Still sucked from downtown. If he doesn't have the confidence, it does not mean anything. Mitchell Robinson, the main thing that's been holding him back is the foul trouble and those mental lapses. Sometimes you can see him have those mental lapses. Yes, he could block shots like crazy. That's kind of like a curse, but a good thing at the same time because he tries to block everything. Sometimes you just got to realize that you're not going to be there in time and just play straight hands up fundamental defense or arms up fundamental defense. And I think Nerlens Noel does a better job of that. Mitchell Robinson, you could tell when he's going to have a good game or a bad game. First 2 minutes, he commits a foul, the momentum goes away. Yes, he may have a dunk, but then 2 plays later, 2 minutes into the basketball game, he may commit a foul or commit a couple fouls in a row, and then the momentum's gone. If he doesn't commit fouls in the first few minutes, that's how you know Mitchell Robinson's going to have a good game because he has that momentum on his side. In the pick and rolls, how dominant he is. But when it comes to discipline, playing disciplined basketball on defense, I do think it's Nerlens Noel. Mitchell Robinson may have the higher productivity. He's going to produce more in the stats column. But when it comes to just being smarter mentally, I think right now it's Nerlens Noel. I really hope Mitchell Robinson improves in that category. Nerlens Noel is stronger. Mitchell Robinson, yes, he has a long wingspan, just like Nerlens Noel does as well. But would I start Mitchell Robinson? Yes, I would, because he's a part of our future. But if I don't think Tom Thibodeau's going to hand out minutes. I think he's going to give minutes to the guys that puts them in the best position to be successful as a basketball team and win games. Yes, like I said, this team will not win many games in my opinion. At the max, I think we'll win 29, and I'm being kind of generous there. I think we'll win 23 to 24 to be completely honest with you guys. But the win category or the win column, you can't say that we didn't show improvement compared to last year. The reason why is because we may have these young guys finally taking the last shots compared to last year. Marcus Morris winning us games, guys like Bobby Portis, Taj Gibson, Elfrid Payton. This year we hope to see RJ taking the last shot more like he did against Houston. Not like Marcus Morris when he did against the Mavericks, but I do think that was the right move because RJ was off that game. He did not play good against Dallas, but Julius Randle as well. We don't want him winning us games. We want the young guys give it down low to Mitch in the post, see if he's been working in his post on his post arsenal. RJ Barrett, even if it's Frank in the lineup, if it's Obi Toppin, see what he could do in that type of situation. You want to see these guys learn. I think we're going to be competitive, but towards the end of the season, you'll see us finally learn how to close out basketball games, and I think that's very important. A young team learning how to win games. Like I said, the win column's not going to look great, but maybe we'll see these young guys win these basketball games, which is very valuable moving forward for this team to build experience on what they could do in the clutch. How can they do when it comes down to a nail-biting situation and down to the nitty-gritty, and that type of thing when it comes to these young players. But yes, when it comes to the starting lineup, getting back to the question, I do believe Tom Thibodeau is going to start Elfrid Payton. He's going to start Elfrid Payton. If he doesn't work out, I do think he's going to switch over to a different guard. But it really does depend where he's moving, where he thinks his team's going to move. Is he going to go with the youth movement and just he's going to start Knox, but be very accountable and just be on his ass like crazy? Mike Miller, I had a lot of respect for. He didn't play the young guys because I do think he was playing for his job, or the organization just wanted him to win as many games as possible. You saw the frustrations he had with Knox defensively, and because like Knox has talent, it's all mental with Knox, and we kind of expected this though. When we took him ninth overall, he was taken as his project, but us Knicks fans were still gonna have no patience because we want to be good as a basketball team. But I think he's going to start Alfred. I think he's going to have Alec Burks at the 2. I think he's going to look at RJ more as a 3, in my opinion. And he's going to have maybe Julius Randle will be starting for them, or if it's Obi Toppin. But I think he might roll Julius Randle. If he rolls with Obi Toppin, I think that is good for the Knicks moving forward. And Mitchell Robinson or Nerlens Noel. I'm just going to say don't be surprised if Nerlens Noel starts over Mitchell Robinson. It's really tough because we know Tom Thibodeau's this no-nonsense guy that wants to win. He's been a winner in his career. Yes, he hasn't won the big thing of an NBA championship. But every time he goes to a team, the team goes to the playoffs. If he was with the Knicks, even as an assistant coach, they went to the playoffs. With Mike Woodson under the helm, of course, of being the head coach. The Timberwolves, they even went to the NBA playoffs. But I think they wouldn't have went to the playoffs if Jimmy Butler didn't come back from that injury that really saved them. Jimmy Butler kind of put them on his back, put the team on his back. He went to the playoffs with the Chicago Bulls with Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah, and I think he was a big reason of Derrick Rose's development, even though Derrick Rose was one of the greatest players, even like when he was healthy, youngest MVP and that type of thing. But he really matured guys' games like Joakim Noah, and I think he's going to like Obi. Obi's an underrated passer. The defense is the big question mark, though, playing too high on pick and rolls. But let me know down below, what do you think Tom Thibodeau's starting 5 will look like for the New York Knicks? What do you think the bench will look like? Will quickly be the main 6-man off the bench? Will Julius Randle take on that role of being a 6-man, or no, his ego's too big and we're paying him too much money to become a 6-man for us? But thank you guys so much for the great amount of support. I hope you guys are doing amazing. I literally have to go to class in 5 minutes. But as always, guys, have a humble day or night. Peace out, y'all.